Good evening, everyone. I know a few seconds out, give me a moment. It feels like a good while since it was last live. I don't know why that's doing that, but we figure it out probably in a second. So it's been a while. It's been 13 days, I think it was, since the last live stream, which has been a good while. A lot of things have happened since then. Obviously, Joe Biden is not one of the presidency. A lot of things basically has happened since I was last live. Now there's an awful lot to talk about. Uh, so we get there. So it might be a bit long tonight. We see how we go. So the reason why I wasn't live for the majority that a good while, um, because I felt a bit worn out, like being live all the time as it was, and I needed a bit of a breather. So I uploaded a few videos instead, etc., etc. But it wasn't as many. I thought I would actually upload more. Like there's more there that probably should have been uploaded. To be totally honest with you, but I didn't do it unfortunately. Hello, Gordon. How are we doing? Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't needed a bit of a break for a day or two. Like being live, etc., etc. So that's why I just needed that. Even though I didn't take a full break, like off YouTube or XYZ, I still put up a few videos. There wasn't many videos now, but there was more videos recorded. I just didn't put them up. But I didn't feel like going live. I just wasn't feeling up to it. So welcome back. A big trip. But yeah, no, I just wasn't feeling up to the last few days to be live. When was I last live? And just check. 14 days ago. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, there's been a few videos up. So we finished the Helsinki. All the footage and everything from the Helsinki trip is out, which is great. I'm delighted that we got that done and finished with. So yeah, in the meantime, there's 3 videos up there. Yes, I had 6 recorded. I only uploaded 3 of them. So there's 3 not uploaded. So yeah, there's loads of videos I have never uploaded, and they're just lying there. So probably should start like uploading some of them. What am I doing here? Sorry, and just have to double check a few things. Yeah, there's an awful lot to talk about, so give me a moment and with all the stuff. There's an awful lot of stuff, but I just need to check something actually before I go live. Before I, out of 8, yeah. I hate it when that happens. Pens, even though I have a ton of pens, it's always a nuisance. Because every time I go looking for a pen to write something, it's always usually out of ink or it's dried up. So yeah. So yeah, I know I'm a few minutes out. I said 7, but long and behold, here we are. So we give it a few minutes in it, just to let notifications go out, etc., etc. Because there's an awful lot to go through. So I probably will forget some stuff. Just to say, there's an awful lot of stuff. So bear with me. Yeah, like I have an awful lot of pens there. There's another batch of pens down there. But yeah, I have loads of pens and pencils. You've probably often seen them in the background of markers. Some of these markers, I had to buy new markers, etc., etc. Used to have markers for blue and red and all that. Half of these probably still don't. I was tricking. I used to have more of them, and I got rid of them. Have to replace them. It's usually I highlight stuff, etc., etc. So I don't even know that these ones still work. But obviously, I have loads of pens, and then I have other ones down there, and I have a box of it over there too. So there's a lot of pens and pencils for different things. The majority of the time, I only use the ones that's in front of me. I don't go rummaging. I just want to see is this. I have no anything in front of me to try it on. No, I actually tell a lie. This. Yeah, that one's walking. Just when I'm here, just the shits and giggles to see if they're walking. Okay, all of them are walking. If I wasn't looking for them, that one's not walking. Yeah, that one's not working. That's fucked. See, let me just. No, it doesn't. I could throw that in the bin. Yeah, that one's not working. I'm not bothered doing the rest of them because the rest of them probably won't work either. But two of them are working there, so I'll put them all back now because end up going, something will go missing, and that'll be that. Have you seen the Swedish Green Party former Minister for Culture? I have not seen it. I'm not heard about that. I actually look at that now because I actually haven't been paying much attention to what's happening around the world the last few days. But I haven't seen that. I can look it up now because I wouldn't be surprised to be told hands. But obviously, I disagree with that immensely. Any historical artifacts, they should be preserved. They shouldn't be destroyed. So hopefully, that doesn't happen. I wouldn't say they do it, to be told honest, because people wouldn't be too pleased with it. What do you call it, sorry? I'm spelling people's names well. But I don't know much about it, but I can look at it enough, man. I didn't hear a bit about that at all, but you remember the European Parliament? Interesting. No, I don't see anything here on the headlines. In it. Oh, yeah, well, that's probably right. Yeah, in October. Yeah, it seemed to be a while ago, yeah. I thought it was only half to happen. Don't recall hearing about it then. So I presume that she didn't get away. That's what I heard. Because I know there's an old ship was up in Stockholm. They're doing up like it's hundreds and hundreds of years old. It was ways from the Baltic Sea. I know they're doing that up in Stockholm. So I don't presume that we're doing that because I don't think many people are too fond of destroying historical artifacts. I don't think people will be too fond of it. Recycling it. So I don't think so. So there's an awful lot to talk about. So where to start, I suppose. So I suppose we start here with this. So again, I take my time. I won't rush tonight because I have to try and remember myself where I am, etc., etc. Because there's an awful lot of stuff. Why is that like that now? I don't know. There's a few things changed. So I don't know if people have seen this. Great Media put out a video on it. So as you can see, a lot of people have seen this. But yeah, this is so you can see this is log cabin. The same what happened to Tipperary to the man in Tipperary. It's on their land. It's on these people own this land, right? Now, obviously, I don't know what it's to do with it. Is it because they didn't get the proper planning permission, etc., etc.? But long story short, Dublin County, South Dublin County Council wants to demolish it and put this man in prison. You may ask, what was the alternative if he did demolish this place himself? Was the council going to help him out, get him a modular home or X, Y, and Z? No. We want you just to demolish it. You can sleep in the street. You can sleep in the trees over there. Basically, you think the council will come along and say, you can demolish that and we give you a modular home, but there's no such thing as that. Because, again, these are Irish people. If there wouldn't Irish, though, why the heaven and earth would be a house built within a day to try and accommodate them. But yeah, it's this journalist from Great Media points out, only 5 minutes drive down the road, and the assignment said there's hundreds of single males. And, who knows if they have planning permission or fire permission, fireproof fire sort, that's the word. And who knows, is this like they built loads of asylum places? They built loads of estate for Ukrainian refugees and they never had any planning permission whatsoever. So, but they're waging about this. But the thing of the matter is, and I said it before when the thing happened at Tipperary with this man in Tipperary, it is on his land. I can gather that it's on that he owns the land. Now, I understand you can't just fuck things up everywhere, etc. I understand that. But at the end of the day, the man can't afford to probably buy a house. He generally can't, and this is the best he can do, a log cabin. And particularly with the situation that we're in at the moment where so many people are homeless and can't afford a house, at the end of the day, who really cares? Unless his neighbor, maybe his neighbors are quiet about it. But at the end of the day, who really cares? He's just living there, minding his own business. And then again, loads of thousands of people can turn up and claim to be the new Irish, etc., etc., and get a modular home, etc., etc., all paid for by the taxpayer. But again, long story short, this man shouldn't go to prison. I'm sure the Celts could do something what to do, because again, at the end of the day, these people be homeless; they have nowhere to go. I'm sure if the Celts demolish this now in the morning, he'd go to prison and his wife and children be left on the street. And the funniest thing is, there'd be new people turning up at Dublin Airport and they'd be given a free house and everything. And who knows, they might actually put the asylum seekers into this house and kick them out on the street because, Irish people, we don't really care. And that's just the truth. Keep it there. Yeah, but no, it is it's shocking this now. Yeah, but yeah, it's very shocking. Particularly, and I do recommend watching Grip Media's video on it. But hopefully, it doesn't come to that, because again, there's a lot of uproar about it, and as there should be. There should be uproar about it because it's insane. But I wouldn't mind if the country wasn't in a housing crisis, etc., etc. Wasn't in a desperate need. Take for example, because again, if they knock down the cabin, take for example, they knock down this log cabin they built. The Celts have given them no alternative accommodation, saying, if we knock that down, we can give you a social house, right? Or we give you a modular home. But there's nothing like that. Just knock it down and you can live on the side of the road, basically. And as this journalist points out, 5 minutes down the road, there's thousands of young men just there. And, they don't contribute a penny to the country. They leech off the country as much as possible. And again, this is a working Irish family. The man seems like he's a working man. He seems like he's doing stuff. You can see wood and stuff. He's very resourceful. He's a business, like he's a self-employed man. He could be a tradesman. He's contributing to the economy. And this woman probably works as a job. It probably did say it. I can't remember. I watched the whole video from Great Media. But again, these people probably work, and they're bringing up 2 young children, which isn't easy in the modern world in Ireland. Obviously, being Irish, it doesn't help. But next to it, yeah. But I hardly that the neighbours are crying about it. Like, why would you really cry about it? Making 2 young children, like they are. I don't know what age they would be. I say this fellow would be 5, and she'd be about 7 or 9. Like, why would the neighbours want to see these people just being thrown out on the side of the road? They couldn't be that bad. They couldn't be that mean. Like, whatever they done, maybe they could have a dispute with them. But at the end of the day, they really have to just be thrown out on the street. It's not really fair. To be told, and especially because the country's in such a state, as trying to even get a house to rent. This is the best he probably has. And you can't really fault the man for that. That's just my opinion on this. Now, so conspiracy 2.0 appears to be true, allegedly, of course, in the game. So this is a poll. I get the whole thing. I don't have it with me now, the whole lot of it. But this is just a headline of it. 22% of Irish politicians want more people to come in. So basically what they say in America, they want people to come in from Mexico and give them citizenship because they will vote the Democrats, if that makes any sense. The same here. And 22% is a lot. Like, a few years ago, that would never have been heard of. And, that's quite a lot of people. And the majority are from, would you believe, Sinn Féin supporters and Aintu supporters, etc., etc. Like Sinn Féin's in a lot of trouble now, because a good lot of their voter base believes in this, and Sinn Féin, don't want that. They don't want this. They don't want people to have a brain in Sinn Féin. But that's what's happening. So people are very. You can see there's a lot. And again, the majority of Sinn Féin into an independent, but particularly Sinn Féin is shocking that a lot of the voter base believe this, like they do believe it. So Sinn Féin's in a lot of trouble now, obviously with Sinn Féin, the loss of support in the last election, because they simply won't address it. As simple as that, they won't address it. Yeah. Hello there, Fiona. But we all know what Coveney and stuff like that, or he sent out it. But it's the fact of the matter is not so much Fianna Gael and Fianna Fáil voters. We look at it later on in detail, more detail. but it's more Sinn Féin. Like if all the mainstream political parties, the Sinn Féin voters. So you can see why Sinn Féin was made. It's going to be in a lot of trouble now in a while, basically, because a lot of their voters don't agree with what Mary Lou and the rest of them are saying. Because a lot of again, probably 10% of the Sinn Féin voters believe this, basically. To be totally honest, I really wouldn't blame them because there's no other. If you put two and two together, you're going to get four. And if you look at the whole situation, conspiracy theory 2.0, I know, allegedly, of course, too. If you look at it and put two and two together, of just endless amount of people, 300 or so people, maybe more. Not even 300 has been conservative, but 800, maybe 1,000, more than 1,000 coming in a week. Just coming in, just keep coming in. Loads of young men just keep coming into the country every day of the week, non-stop. It's basically just the tap is overflowing. The horse is bolted. There's no such thing as a stop. There's no such, as Mary Lou McDonald said, there's no cap vote. There's no anything. We'll talk about that later on, but I kind of agree with this, to be totally honest. That's what I'm trying to say, because they're just still what Irish people that are going to kick up a fuss. Again, at the moment, they just want people to shut up and say nothing about immigration. But unfortunately, we live in a democracy where you can actually speak your mind, etc., for the moment, anyway. But this is what they want at the top. They want people to come in from another country that can speak to the politicians, can tell them what to do, etc., for exchange of a free house, etc. This, that, and the vote the main political parties in. But obviously, Irish people know rightly they won't care, but the only Irish Joe. So, they're pretty fucked if they do. They don't, maybe look no budget. So the ship is sinking. So Michael Wing, he's been a long time Fine Gael. He's 30-something years in the Dáil, just to say. That's an awful long time too. But not even that. This is the thing. 15 out of the 35 Fine Gael TDs are not seeking re-election, including Leader Farkas Simon Coveney, as we said. And that's a huge and Paul Keogh, you have other Fine Gael fuckers. And that's an awful lot. And especially Michael Wing, too. It was really a guaranteed seat for Fine Gael in Mayo. He was always getting elected. It was never really an issue of him getting elected. But that seat is now open, basically. It's basically up in the air who will get that seat in Mayo. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not guaranteed who will get it. And the fact of the matter is, with 15 out of the 35 of them going, Fine Gael have very little options for who to put in their place. So Fine Gael is probably banjoed. To be totally honest, they're kind of being banjoed at the moment. So we should see. But again, they're all jumping ship because they know people are not happy. And there's huge public anger, etc., They know their time is up, basically. A lot of them. So they're all just kind of jumping ship when they can. So we should see what happens. But yeah, we'll get to that. But no surprise with him. Yeah, you can't state facts in modern society. you get what I'm saying. I have to kind of be careful what I say if you don't answer at the moment, because the top police might be around, and we don't want the top police. We don't like the top police. We'll get to that in a second about these lunatics. So I'm sure people were watching the Olympics. I'm sure you were glued into the Olympics, Aaron only. I'm sure your head was. You were nearly in the telly watching it. Now, where was this? Now, if you haven't seen this before, I'm sorry if I have to show you this. So this is the opening ceremony in the Olympics. Now you're probably wondering what is this? In the Olympics. Like what is that? So long story short, if anybody knows Christianity, etc., the Last Supper, Jesus and the 12 disciples take for example. So this is supposed to be Jesus take for example, and the 12 apostles. So basically, This is supposed to be the Last Supper, technically, what they're trying to do here. And now I don't know what lunatic thought this was fine, in the Olympics. Like, and I wouldn't like because again they can't say they didn't know. To be totally honest, because it's just plainly obvious that they just want to be anti-Christian, etc., etc. But there's no word about Islamic. There's no word about the Prophet Muhammad or anything. There's nothing like that. Nowhere to be found. You think they would maybe showed Islam or something like that. But again, we couldn't do that. Because I think we all know what would happen if you done that. It wouldn't end too well. But needless to say, like what and I wouldn't mind. Literally, this was on live telly. So this fella here in the black here, I don't know what he is or who he is or what. I don't even want to say anything because they might go mad. But long story short, he was there and he's tested the gun. I know I'm using such emphasize war. It was literally out in live telly. And loads of kids watching, billions of people, not even just before we even go any further than this. This is what the Olympics, the first beginning of the Olympics, look at the opening ceremony where a billion people watching it. Come to France, etc., etc. We want to celebrate the Olympics where we come together, etc., etc. I'm probably going to be arrested for his speech, but long story short, what can you say? What can you really say? What insane lunatic did they get to do this? What lunatic came along and said, "Let's portray the Last Supper as this abomination"? That's just putting a straight abomination. Because let's be fair, I seen. You think they would have shown straight away after this Islamic or something to do with the Jewish, like the Judaism or what anything like that, but nothing like that, of course, because God forbid to be absolutely anarchy if you done something like that to any other religion in the world. Like they would generally, they would go mad, people, and the mainstream media would literally have a fit. So obviously Christianity, the media is just like, the Irish media were like nodding their heads. This is great, because they don't believe in God. They don't think they're above God. They think they can decide the fate, etc., etc. But thanks be to God, I wasn't watching the Olympics because this is the crack. Basically, hello, Sean. I hope you didn't have to witness that scene. Yeah, but it's the Olympics. I wouldn't mind if I was going to a drag queen show. You would expect that, but it's the Olympics. The Olympics. It's a bit of a piss take if you ask me straight, and especially because they knew what they were doing. It wasn't like it was a mistake. They done it by mistake. But yeah, long story short, not too impressed by it, to say the least, because it's the Olympics. It should, and they're saying, "Oh, we shouldn't be non-political, etc., etc." But like if this was any other religion, basically, what I'm trying to say, if this was Jewish faith, if this was Islamic, there would be uproar. There generally would be if there was, making fun of Jews or anything like that, or making fun of Islamic, or even Orthodox. Take for example, Russian Orthodox. Take for any other religion, there would be pandemonium. Like OT News would have a fit. But obviously, when it involves God, they don't care. Christians, who cares about Christians, more or less? And this is France in modern day, But again, all this is just my opinion, to be totally honest, because the majority of people it's blatant. It's blatant, obviously. Even if it was, say, even Orthodox, it was making fun of Orthodox. Way take for example, I would still say it's abomination that you're doing this on the Olympic Games, at an Olympic Games. Like, come on now, it's a bit over the top. But anyway, so obviously so and then obviously the next day, I think is the greatest kick in the hole for them. Let's put it that way. Powers had a huge power outage, and what you notice is because again, they will face repercussions for this. the only thing that was lit, as you see, the All of Powers had a power outage the next day for an hour and a bit. As you see, no lights at all. But the only thing that's lit up is the church. So, literally, this was the only thing in the whole city of Powers that had light. Is the church, which I think is very ironic, and it shows that the man above is not happy. He's not happy with it because again, the whole city's blacked out, and the only thing that's lit up is the church across the whole city. With this, I think they might have maybe annoyed somebody. So, but yeah, no. Again, this is what they get. That's what I just put it in a lighter tone. But yeah. Now, some good news in a way, but this is going to take 900 million years. Just to say, I'd be literally 90 by the time to do this. So they talk about rail lines. So stupid back in the 50s when the government decided let's tear up the whole rail lines in all the country. So this is all around the country, the plan to do railway lines. They should have done this. They should never have got rid of them in the first place. But long story short, there's going to be a railway stop going through Cavan. But I don't know how they're going to manage it because there's nowhere in Cavan to put railways. In Cavan town specifically. So I don't know what they're going to do. Have to be outside the town or somewhere. And then up to Clones Mall and I'm all ported down and leaks to Belfast. So this is by 2050. And we all know the Metro Link, the underground system in Dublin, was supposed to be up and running by 2030. Fair to say, it hasn't even fucking started. Long story. So it'll literally be about 2080 or so by the time any of this is done. Because it'll take that long to do it, basically. So they should have done this. They should have done this years ago, back in the 70s. I don't know why they're only doing it now. And talking about it now. Because we had a great railway system. We did have a great railway system back in the day. The one good thing the British did was give us a good railway system, and obviously the Irish government didn't like it back in the 50s and just decided to tear it up. Because it would have made traveling around the country a lot easier for people. But the government, had other ideas that they didn't. No, I don't know what it was to do with it. I think it was just a short circuit or something like that. But long story so short, the man above wasn't happy. I don't think. And I think that's what everybody should take out of it because the only thing that had power in the whole city was the church. So I don't know. I think that's a sign saying that the man above is not very happy. Let's put that way and put it in the simplest term. But I think they are planning for all around the country, like Sligo, going up to Letterkenny, up that way, everywhere. I think they're planning new routes everywhere. But again, yourself, Sean, I'd be 90 by the time to do it. But they should never have got rid of them in the first place. Like, there used to be trains going through Cavan, etc. Said, onwards to Monaghan, etc. Said, now there's none at all in County Cavan. They should never have got rid of them. It was the stupidest thing ever they did. And it's going to, guess how much it's going to, you're probably like, oh, that's great, they're going to do this. It's going to cost about 38 billion to do all this. Like, not even this in Cavan, the other lines and stuff like that. It's going to cost about 38 billion. Obviously, being Ireland, etc., etc., it'd be about 60 billion, 70 billion by the time when the time all comes good and done. Yeah, well, we all know what was the story with that. Yeah, we'd all get free passes and stuff like that to travel around the place. I don't. Yeah, so I talked about this in the video. So the county board have finally pulled their head out of the house, to put it lightly. So for if you watch the video, I explained it in better details. But long story short, I'm sure people remember me And coincidentally, this council here, Sarah Wiley, coincidentally, about 2 years ago or so, she was the no, she was not she was the deputy Cahira, I think, at the time. And she voted out because people of her constituency, like some of her people in her constituency, were upset they couldn't get into their GEA again because they had to buy a ticket online. And they went to her about it, etc., etc., etc. And long story short, you know the way councils send off letters to different organisations, etc., etc., saying they're expressing concern about it, etc., etc. Basically, the county board came along and said, and again, if you want to look about, I've done a whole video on it, that, you know, if we get any more letters, we throw them in the bin. We won't even look at them. We throw them in the bin from elected officials. That was the answer to the county board about, you know, not having two-way options, basically, for people to pay online or pay at the gate. And that was the response she got. And at the time, I was very upset with that because tone deaf, really, response from the county board with what do you expect from the county board and the GEA. And not even that. At the time when this was talked about too, the county board was like, no, we're not going to listen to anybody. We're going to do it our way. Fuck the whole lot of you, basically. So about time to pull the head out of the arse. Because the county board, because again, as I keep saying, and it's not like they're letting them go in for nothing. You know, they're paying money to go in, etc., etc. Not doing it for nothing. And they have their big dinners and etc., etc. The county board, the people in the county board, they have their big pay and conditions. Etc. They don't do anything for nothing, basically. So, you know, it's about time to pull the head out of the arse, basically. You know, so in the most vulgar terms, you know, about fucking time, to put it lightly, to them. Snowden, what? But yeah, speaking of Sarah Wiley too, she's planning to contest the general election coming up in Cavan. I wish her all the best in that, obviously. But what was I going to say? So yeah, you know, I made the statement last night too. That's always there. That's always there in the Cavan flag, the GA flag. It's always there. It's always been there. But long story short, what I'm trying to say here, yeah, it's just to say, because I know some people have talked to me, some of the political parties have talked to me about it. I have no intention of running as an independent in the general election, just to make that clear to political parties or anybody that's seeking election to the general election in you know, that's the GA flag. Yeah, there's a red hand on it. I have no intention of seeking the Dáil, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. The Dáil election in coming up whenever it is. So, you know, just to make that clear to anybody that any of the political parties. So I won't be standing in anybody's way, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, with Eamon Ryan, this is the same Eamon Ryan too. That wanted people to have 2 cows in the village and everybody shares the cow. You know, he literally came out and said that he literally wanted 2 cows for about 300 people and everybody shares the cow pools together. So, you know, you know, Eamon Ryan is with he's a bit loopy. That's but you know, that's what I'm trying to say. Because you know, you couldn't go by what Eamon Ryan tells him. Anyway, Eamon Ryan won't be there soon. And the same with the Green Party, they're going to be set back into the Stone Age in the next election. Because people are really gunning for the Green Party. Especially that Rodrigo Gorman fellow, he's gone too in the next election. And then that Catherine Mountain one over the OT, giving the money to the OT, she's going to be gone in the next election too. But she's basically signed her own warrant to be kicked out. Like the whole lot of them are just shot themselves in the foot. Now, speaking of power outages, now this has nothing to do with the man above, but there was a huge power outage there Sunday evening. And it affected 21,000. Like literally, and this is the interesting part of it. Um, literally from Killishandra to the Ballyconnell up in Black Lion, Beltober, Cavan here, Ballyheels, Red Hills, Gowna. Like it was an insane amount of area covered, and let's just say 21,000. It covered a lot. Like it really affected a lot of the local area. We don't really know what was. I think it was just a fault or something like that. But it was up quick enough anyway. But it wasn't to do with the man above or anything. Less Cavan people really annoyed the man above. But that's what happened. So, yeah, to be totally honest, I had no idea. I presume it was just a fault, short circuit or something like that. Because I know people were saying about data setters, etc., but it could be. But I don't think so. I don't know. But it's the first time ever it's kind of happened all around Cavan. Like usually it's confined to a small area. Take, for example, if it's only in Buttersbridge or being Clover Hill, it'd be only in two small areas of Cavan. This was county-wide, basically, for a lot of the county. For nearly 50% of the county experienced this, basically. So it was interesting to see how 50% of it was just knocked offline instantly. Yeah, so I don't know what happened there. I know people were asking me what happened. To be totally honest, I don't know myself. So, I presume it's just a short. It could be to do with the data set that I don't know. It's the fact of the matter, the ESB, nobody bothered to say anything. And it's either involved and forgotten about, to be totally honest at this stage. Now, so this is I don't know much about this. I'm trying to find out actually in the background about this too. So as the 29 bus Aaron school bus driver informed us that the services of 4 schools out of Cavan schools in Ballyakilla, this is for national school. 20 seats lost to rural children. This is in rural Cavan now, just to say. They've been on the bus for years. Week before school starts, I've been told. So obviously the schools will be soon going back. Yeah, as you know. There's no way to get your children to school. Yesterday I checked with bus outside. They told me there was currently no seats available. Where did the 20 seats? The 20 seats. Wherever they went, who knows? Because this is a genuine question. Where did they go? Did they just if happy wait? There's a lot of questions to be asked, and so there is. There's a lot of questions to be asked. I probably should share this too. But none of the I have heard literally nobody like this other queen. This is the one who was responsible, the Minister for Education, because literally she put out the free school scheme that people could get free on buses for free, school buses for free, and they didn't put on extra buses, etc., and there's loads of bus drivers will retire and etc., and they never. So basically, she fucked the whole lot up. But yeah, the question is where do them 20 seats go? This is the question. So my presumption is that the Ukrainians or somebody got it. To be totally honest, that's what I presume. The kids left very distressed parents weeks before school with choices to pay 2,640 for 2 kids on a private bus, which is insane for an only working family having to pay for 2 kids, nearly €3,000 just to say, or keep them at home. This is not a nice day. This has been happening, but again, I have heard literally nothing from any of the TDs, etc., Obviously, a few weeks' time to be up in arms about it because the election's coming up, and obviously the councillors are nowhere to be found because they got elected. Then no, they don't care now, to be totally honest. But I presume these 20 seats have gone to the Ukrainians. They come before because I presume this is Irish kids they're talking about. Presuming so. I don't know, but presuming so because it's funny where did them 20 seats go? They just didn't evaporate into the middle of nowhere. Nobody's, and the fact there's literally dead silence on this. And it's not even, this is one out of many incidents. So we need to kind of know what was happening here. Maybe I'm being a conspiracy theory about the 20 seats going to Ukrainians, but I don't know. But all children do. All children do, along with the Ukrainians, etc. But all children do because number 40 bought out the school, the thing last year, and it really fucked up everything. Any children could go. I didn't even know Irish children that can get on the bus for free. Like the bus out and CIE buses. So that was what happened. But see, the problem was there. And I don't know if this might be the problem because I've been trying to find out about it in the background too. Um, so why did that they have no bus basically because there's a load of old buses, bus out one for the school one, right? And a lot of them buses, when they reach the retirement age, they're not going to be replaced. And not even that. This is the kick up that they brought in this scheme last year, right, for people to get on a free bus, etc., etc. And the problem was, see, in Cavan alone, take for example, there's 5 school bus drivers that are retiring, right, and there's nobody to replace them. Nobody wants to do it. So 5 bus drivers are gone. Nobody to replace them. That bus is off the road, and that's it. Private company came in, took it over, money up. No such thing as free bus money, you know. So Norma Foley never thought about that, you know, when she came out with that. And not even that, as I say, there's an issue in one part of Cavan, up in Black Lion, up that direction. What I just said about the school bus has been on the road 20 years. It's near retirement age. The school bus, the CIE bus. And there's no money for a new bus. So, sorry, you know, that's what's happened. Now, I don't know what's the situation that it's circumstance, whether them 20 seats go, because what I get it for that, just now, because I'm trying to find out myself exactly what this, because it's very weird that there's 20 seats and they're just disappeared, apparently. So that tells me there is a bus, there's a driver. Where's them 20 seats gone? Who knows? You know, because it's very shifty thing, to be totally honest. But I don't know. But I'd love if anybody hears anything to let us know. So long story short, as I say, if they got a private bus, a private company, Floods and Cavan, take for example, we needed €3,000 for 2 children for the whole year, which is a lot of money to be asking up for. Oh, it's not even that now, but like a lot of these parents do. Even when I was when the school bus when I was younger, they're going to work, except some of them are going to Dublin, except they don't have time to bring them to school, etc., etc. I even remember in national school there was parents leaving off their children at 7 o'clock in the morning when the classroom opened at 9. Because the reason why they were going off to Dublin to work, going off to work, you know, and you couldn't really have that too, because I remember even some of the children being left in freezing cold weather for 2 hours, left outside the school, etc., etc. And that's what's happening. And not even that too, like them 20 kids, they should be on the school bus. That's the point that matters, because they were on it before, as this person said, they've been on it for years. Yeah, they've been on it for years. So I presume it's near the last year, etc., etc. But it is a question: where do these 20 seats go to? But again, apparently there's no councils available, or no TDs that I found, because I've been waiting for them to come out and say something. I probably will get talking to some of them at some stage. Not the TD. I probably get talking to some of those councillors, because I want to really know myself what was the story here, because it's very shifty. They won't tell me, obviously, but because if it's something to do with Ukrainians, X, Y, and Z, they won't tell me because they'll be afraid of being put online. But you can imagine if this was Ukrainians, they wouldn't get those seats. They'd be up pandemania. Like all the TDs would be jumping around up and down all day, every day about it. Shock, no. But yeah, if that was Ukrainians, don't worry, heaven and earth would be moved to get them on the bus. Yeah, for all children, yeah. Majority of cases, yeah. But Norma Foley, see, the problem was, and again, I said it earlier on, they didn't put on extra buses, right? They didn't put on extra buses because they couldn't get drivers and they wouldn't pay the money for new buses. Because the majority of the buses that are run by the CIE, take for example, old school buses, Dockey's years old. The one I used to go on to was 20 years old, was being replaced, and I was leaving school at the time, secondary school. That was being replaced. Thankfully, that one was being replaced. But again, some of the ones wouldn't be replaced. but the one that I had, which was 20 years old, and that I think for that ones were being replaced. But see what they did in some areas too. They didn't put on a new bus and was given to a private contractor, and you had to pay up front. There was no such thing as free. If it's a private company, you have to pay yourself. It's only CIE buses with it, stuff like that. But it's very shifty, that one now. To be honest, particularly the 20 seats. It's very very weird. That's why I'm bringing it up here. So I'd be expecting answers from some of the councillors when I get chatting them. Because again, I remember literally before the election, they were all up and down, jumping up and down every day of the week about this and that, And now all of a sudden, after the general local authority election, there's nobody around. There's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. None of them are anywhere to be found. If you went around Cavan now, try and find your local councillor, because they're nowhere to be found. As soon as the election's over, they don't give a shit. That's the funniest thing about it. None of them seem to give a shit. Like, none of them care. Yeah. Oh no, I have a story to say about why, but I get to it eventually now in a second. But yeah, so time for Dalton. Oh, we have to talk with Joe Biden. So this is true too. I never actually thought about this until seeing this account, and obviously this is kind of true in a way. This photo here. What is this behind it? Just to say, what is this behind these True Finns supporters? Like, maybe they were trying to do a good, the Last Supper, thing. I don't know, because they're very weird. I know these people. That's what I hate to say it, but they are generally something not right with them. Because the only thing they ever say is time to cut. But yeah, what is this? Because it is true. What is that, yoke? You should answer. I never noticed it. What is this? Because to be totally, I think they're just anarchists. If you don't answer, but what is that? That's what I'd like to know. This has been sponsored by the Democratic Party of Finland. Like Liz Truss, yeah, she's worse than Liz Truss. She's the only thing she can say is time to cut. I don't even know. It doesn't really give you much detail. Like, even when I zoomed in on it, it's just kind of like I don't even know what it is, but I can try and get it. I just closed this and you asked me to that. Let me see how to find it. But what is that? I know I showed this photo before. Like, this comment just kind of I was like, yeah, that's actually kind of true. They're not telling. Excuse me, they're not telling a lie about that. Like, they're actually telling the truth. This comment about kind of being like the Last Supper. Yeah, the True Finns or something more to that. I can't really zoom in, unfortunately. I don't think you let me zoom in. Like, I don't even know what this is. Like, I know this is a map. I can see that's a map. I don't even know what it is, but it's very sus. Whatever it is. Because I wouldn't mind if it's a pole or something, but it's something sus. Because let's be fair, True Finns. Give me a second. I'm just trying to get all the stuff here now. How are we all doing anyway? Sorry, I was on. I've been just kind of yapping for an hour. See, there's that much to talk, but there's so much. Too much. Too much. Since I'm on top of the world. Now, give me a moment. So, but if anybody finds out what that is in the wall, and I would like to know. What's know my location? That's why no notifications of it. Thank you. Um, so just to say, he's very lucky he's not dead to be done this well, because this is the kicker. He either was on he was under the influence of something, so he's generally very lucky he's not dead. Because it was in 100 kilometer zone, he was going 170 in the 100 safe road. You can see down here. This is where it was caught. This is a bend. This is very tight bend. And as you can see, there was other cars around, etc., etc. And this is him here on the other side of the road, overtaking these cars. It's very dangerous, especially because if he slid or something went on in front of Fox or something like that, and if he swerved at 170 kilometers an hour in a 100 kilometer zone, we could have been looking at mass casualties. We could have been looking at 3 or 4 people dead. So it's extremely reckless what this fellow was up to, and especially on a provisional license on a lawless permit. Fair to say, he should never be allowed. He should never be allowed to drive again, because he's extremely reckless. And not even that. He refused to provide a blood sample to Garda Síle O'Connor. So I presume he was on drugs or he was drinking and alcohol. Because this is very basically he's alive, and a lot of people on the road were still alive, because it would have been no hope if he crashed at that speed, especially because again, if he wanted to kill himself, so be it. But at the end of the day, if he was going to take other people with him, that's extremely reckless and irresponsible. And I hope they throw the book at him. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. But never again he should be allowed to drive, basically, in his life. He's lost his right to have a license, because it's just too dangerous what he was up to be totally honest. Yeah, they're everywhere now. They are everywhere. They're literally everywhere. But so hopefully they throw the book at him, because this is beyond dangerous. Now, it's not as bad as the other incident was 200 miles an hour in a something 90 kilometer zone. But still, nonetheless, as you see, it's too dangerous. That's just too bad of speed. Especially being a loner driver and somebody that's not experienced being on the road. And again, it only takes a second for something to happen. We know about all the accidents that's happened right across the country. Again, lucky he didn't get into an accident, thankfully. Because again, we could have been looking at himself being killed along with 3 or 4 other innocent people that were minding their own business. And it's not just, and again, I keep saying to people, you have to think about other people, not just yourself. God forbid if he did swerve, this fan could have ended up with him. 2 or 3 people could have been killed. It could have been a disaster. Thankfully, it didn't happen. So I'm sure people know about this too. Unfortunately, happened in the United Kingdom. So this is the worst attack on children in the United Kingdom for years. So we don't know all the details, I suppose, yet on it. But as you see, 3 children are dead and 9 were injured. Now, this was a dance hall, I think it was. Now, I don't know what provoked the person to go and do this hideous thing to innocent children that were only 7, 6, and 9 year old. I don't know what kind of evil the individual does that. To be totally honest, and the fact that he's only 17 too, I don't know what made him do such a heinous thing. But in my opinion, in my opinion in this subject, because obviously Alan has experienced this too, but not so much people losing their lives. We remember the stabbing on O'Connor Street, Pownell Street, isn't it? Last year, November. But we can't use mental health because nobody who's ill does this kind of thing. Nobody that is mentally ill would do something like this. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Because I don't know how we would describe. It's very hard to describe, and it's very, particularly because it's such young children that the whole life ahead of them. Um, I don't know. Even somebody who was literally mentally insane, I don't think could have done that to innocent children that literally done nothing on anybody. I'm kind of lost words how to describe it, but there's no justification for mental health in this case, basically, for the suspect. In my humble opinion, he should spend the rest of his life behind bars. Hopefully, he does, because I nearly would say he should be worse, but he's underage too. It's a terrible tragedy, especially because again they're so young. They did nothing to anybody, and that's the sad thing about it. But innocent children, I suppose, is a wake up call for the Western world too, as we could have experienced this in Parnell Street. But unfortunately, our children are not safe even just walking on the street in the Western democracies, in the Western world. These things can happen. Years ago, it could happen to adults, of course, but usually children, nobody would touch a child in this kind of way, stabbing them, etc. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but it's beyond words. No words can describe it. How an act this was, but let's refresh. Yeah. Yeah, so they'll probably have to stay at home, or get the private bus. Yeah, I suppose we don't know yet. Like the city was born in Cardiff and stuff like that. We don't know it yet, but I suppose the end of it too. What made him go and do it? I suppose that's what I would want to know. What took him upon himself to do that. Was it's beyond shocking why somebody would do that to innocent children. Only 6 and 7. I lost for words how somebody would do that. Yeah, it really like in cases like this, because they couldn't use mental health. Simple as that. It's far too serious of a thing he's done to children that had their whole lives ahead of them. He's only 17 now, but to be totally honest, he should be. We should really bring back capital punishment. In these instances, we should really generally bring it back, the electric chair. Because to be totally honest, when you do something like this, I know he's underage. You can't do that now. He's underage, etc., etc. But really, for instance, like this, that really take the life of an innocent children. You know, I think at the end of the day, you do lose the right to be in a prison cell. To be honest, you need to chair. You need to be humanely, put on a chair. That's to be totally honest, because extreme vicious acts like that is, there's no amount of time really in prison can really justify it, basically. That's just the way I see it because it's that vicious uh, and that evil of a crime that no justification in the world can justify it or can be put to prison. But again, he's 17, so in this case, he should spend the rest of his life uh, either locked up somewhere forever and never let out again. Um, because you can't send to obviously there's no electric chair in England or anything, but it should be looked into and brought back capital punishment. Because the only thing that's going to make these people that do these things, the only thing because the only thing that's going to make them feel doing these things is if their life goes too. Basically, that makes any sense. Um, and that's why I think capital punishment probably should be the way forward for crimes like this. It's extremely gruesome crimes. To be totally honest, yeah, like we went through things like this before. What I'm trying to say is, um, like there should be capital punishment. To be totally honest, in the Western world, obviously would lead to injection or electric chair, not like a fire one sword or something like that. Because the crimes that's been committed that are inhuman, I suppose the way to describe it. That no human would do something like that, basically, to another individual, to another living person. Not even that, to innocent children, at a dance class. It's the same outside the school in Parnell Street. What human would do something like that to innocent children? Whatever about attacking adults, etc., where they can fight back, but literally attacking 7, 9 year olds with a knife. There's nothing that really. There's no. I don't even know how to describe it, but I'm sure people get what I'm saying. It's inhuman. Generally, to me, it is inhuman. Um, that's just the way I see it. It's inhuman act of evil. Yeah, like there was two adults injured, and they would protect the yoga teacher, etc., in this attack in England. Obviously, we hope they have a full recovery, but obviously, the children that were there, the one hurt, etc., even the adults that were there, even the police that came across that scene, and the paramedics and stuff like that, it stays with you. I'm sure you never would be able to unsee what you've seen. Basically, it must be very hard on them young children to see their friends literally been stabbed in front of them. Um, a lot of lives have been ruined. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. A lot of lives. Um, but yeah, no, I don't think that's a real photo to be totally honest, because he's only 17 too, so he wouldn't be that big. If that makes any sense. So I don't think that's the photo. Maybe I could be wrong, but he's only 17, so that's what I'm going by. So it could be, it couldn't be, but I don't know. I kind of wait and see. Uh, um, but it should bring up a debate too of like really it does have to be brought up about capital punishment. Either the electric chair, even in Ireland, should really be talked about. And I've talked about this a few times, but there is crimes that have been committed, like crimes like this that are brutal, extremely brutal, more inhuman. I would describe them as. Well, maybe true, yeah. We suppose we'll wait and see, but no, I know the image that you're talking about. I don't know. To me, it doesn't look like 70, but we see. We wait and see, I suppose. Um, but yeah, there's been crimes that are inhuman. Uh, and to be totally honest, when you commit crimes that are extremely gruesome and attack vulnerable people, etc., and you're knowingly doing it, you know, I generally do think you lose the right to exist. And I know that's such a bold statement, etc., but there's things that's happened in the world, etc., that justifies. You use your right to exist in society in that source. Um, you know, uh, because I generally, in some cases, I don't think, you know, the only option's really the chair, the electric chair in some cases. Like there's generally some people that are insane, etc. So I don't understand that, but there's generally people there that are extremely evil, that are evil individuals. And the only thing that really will stop these people from committing these heinous things is if they know what the price is to their own life if they do such a thing. You know, that's the way I see it. But I could be wrong, but it's something that does need to be talked about because there's extremely vicious stuff being committed across the whole world, and it's sad to see. I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen that. No, um, but yeah, we hope the family can find some peace. Um, so this is just in from Radio Television. So obviously we know about what's been happening in Clondalkin. The build fire, God only knows how many times at this stage. But long story short is, and this is the thing they have to understand. It is a big, huge complex too. Complex. It's bigger than I thought it was originally. But long story short, and this is the thing I would say to the Irish government. First of all, people, we talk about Sinn Féin's thing. But long story short, it's very obvious, even if the people did go in the morning, it's extremely obvious that the community would not be tolerated. Like, would not tolerate these people being put in there. Like, it's extremely obvious. They haven't even gone in yet, and this is what's happening. So, you know, it's extremely obvious this is what's going to happen. More things are going to happen when they go into it, basically. That's what I was trying to say. So to be totally honest, because it should go to the community. The community should vote. Should it be still used, etc. Because at the end of the day, it's up to the community. People should have a veto. The local people are entitled. Because again, at the end of the day, the local people are paying their taxes. And that's what's funded these sectors too, is the Irish taxpayer, the people that are working in that area, the working class people. That's what's paying for them. So they have every right, and they live in the area, of course, too. So they have every right to have a veto. You know, that's the way I see it. And again, the fact that the government will not have two ways about it, you know, they won't listen to people, is the fact that they're just like, this is the way it's going to be, sit down and shut up and say nothing. It doesn't help anybody, helps nobody. That's the thing. Now, when I'm just here, so I'm sure people have heard about the helicopter crash in Westmeath. Now, they crashed into a piggery, like a farmyard. They were very lucky that it wasn't a built-up area. Like, we were very lucky that it didn't crash into a house or into a town or into that. It was in the rural area in County Westmeath. But still, nonetheless, two men are dead from the crash. But who knows? They say it could take a year before we know what was the story behind it, which shouldn't take a year, to be totally honest, to find it at all. But who knows? But we're lucky that no ground casualties were sustained. But obviously, really, really sad for the families, etc. See which and what? Sorry, I'm missing things. Well, it could be the case. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I'm just going. I suppose I'm just going. This. We just have to probably wait and see. You know. It could be true because I've heard of it before, like people pretending to be in classes. So, but nowadays it's just it's a weird world. But still, nonetheless, the 3 children are dead. Um, going back to going back to this, we talked about this earlier on immigration and stuff. Um, going back, this is from the journal.ie. The recent poll now said the government have lost complete control of immigration, 72%. That's a huge amount of people. Uh, yeah, they've lost complete control of it. Which is true. Nobody can argue with that really at this stage. When you look around you know straight away. But you see that they're literally are upset. The people are starting to cop on a bit of things. Who believe a small group of people are responsible for making all the decisions. We know that for a fact. The World Economic Forum, it's at Davos, the Bilderberg Group, etc., etc. Like it's like they literally say it openly. You know, the World Economic Forum. We need a great reset, and Leo Franco and all them go over to Davos every year. Like we all know it, basically. They're literally showing it right in our faces, you know. So that literally Klaus Schwab was nearly the leader of. Well, not so much now. It would be Neufeld, but nearly they have more power than the elected officials here. Like they tell you what we should do, and then obviously the European Union, which is basically the face of the World Economic Forum too. Yeah, like this here too. A few years ago, that would have been unheard of. But to be totally honest, when you add 2 and 2 together, you get this. To be totally honest, you generally do. When you add 2 and 2 together, you do generally get this. Because it couldn't really be any other way. To be totally honest, they're bringing in people that want to become Irish citizens so they can vote Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. Because let's be fair, the majority of Irish people wouldn't vote Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael even if we paid them to it. You know, simple as that. And especially because I do believe this particularly, that there's people higher than our elected officials in the World Economic Forum in Davos, in the Bilderberg Group, in Bohemian Grove, etc., etc. I shouldn't probably mention it, Bohemian Grove, but in even other more secretive societies that have huge influence on the world and the influence on this country and the world particularly, and make the decisions for the world and stuff like that. It is the truth. Like definitely, they basically say it openly. They generally have said it openly many, many times. So I wouldn't blame people for taking that. Our politicians, in the end of the day, they are really just kind of the front face of it. They're just kind of the public face of it. Does that make any sense? I'm probably saying too much. So good to see you later, Gordon. Take care. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. we don't want to go there. But yeah, the journal are absolutely up in arms. The survey found that voters of independent now into and Sinn Féin were more likely to believe in conspiracy theories. Like Sinn Féin now is turned into conspiracy theories. Like the majority of Sinn Féin grassroots now. Well, we've seen in the recent election. I thought Sinn Féin would won away with it in the last election, but people have copped on to Sinn Féin. Like even the grassroots are starting to question what Miriam McDonald, etc., their policy in immigration. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Sinn Féin's policy, but Sinn Féin. When you see that, it's nearly none. But Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael are just kind of stuck in their own houses. The voters, they haven't got a mind of their own. But the Sinn Féin voters are generally actually asking questions. The Sinn Féin people. I wouldn't mind into an independent. Obviously, that's obvious. But Sinn Féin they're actually starting to ask questions about this. And Mary Lynn McDonald has a tough job now to try and convince them that this is not true. This is just a conspiracy theory. But the sad reality conspiracy theories, as the journal.ie should say, is that usually the 99.9% of the case, they usually are true. You remember they said about there was no such thing as we're not even going to go there because YouTube might have a fit. So just seeing this too here. Like in broad daylight too. Yeah, but the shocking thing about this is that local people were shouting at them they're going to call the guards. And this is the thing, I suppose, another thing. People should, as soon as seeing this happen, the local people, they should have went and try and get her off her, get this man off her, or tried to detain him in some kind of way. It's the fact that they didn't intervene. Nobody intervened to try and hit him or to knock him out, or to just subdue him until An Garda Síochána O'Connell got there. And the fact of the matter, this judge now has just turned around and said, "Oh, we give you 6 years in prison." To be totally honest, in this stage, it should be 30 years for this kind of act. And particularly because he'd done it in broad daylight. He didn't care about being caught. Let's put that way. And 6 years, that's all he gets. I'm just going to show you. And I presume he's Irish. It does have an eye. It sounds like a British name, but it is the kind of Western name, so it isn't. But still, nonetheless, this is appalling that people were watching them doing it and said they were only going to call the guards. They didn't go over and try and, because I'm sure the majority of people would try and stop it or try and detain him, or even worse, doing damage to him, which wouldn't be much loss if he had a broken eye, or not a broken eye, but a broken leg or something at the end of it. But it's the fact that the majority of people say nothing and just walk on. The sad reality of it. No, it sounds like a British or Irish name. It doesn't sound like a Wayne. It's Wayne something. It could be wrong, but it's raining. But I can see the stream being taken down, to be totally honest, about some of the stuff I discussed. To be totally honest, So it's officially Jova. It's Jova, isn't it? So Joe Biden did this is last week now, and this is old news to a lot of people, but he decided to leave. Now, the funniest thing about this was in his letter on Twitter, I'm sure people have seen it, I don't know if it's here, but in his signature was not the right signature. It was a bit, so I think his staff put it out. He didn't intend, he was basically forced into going, basically. And basically, there's two factions of the Democratic Party now. There's one that's pro Kamala Harris, and there's one that wanted Gavin Newsom, or somebody, the Californian government, to be the leader for the Democrats to try and get into the White House. But the truth that went downhill very quickly. So it's going to be Kamala Harris to be the Democrats' nominee. Now, to be totally honest with you, I think it's Jova for Kamala Harris too. And also the media, I said in the post earlier on, I haven't only seen it, the media have this narrative, CNN and stuff, oh, she'd be the youngest president ever. There's no other younger leaders in the world than Kamala Harris, basically what they're saying about being 59 and being young, apparently. allegedly, of course. Um, you know, saying that she's great for young people and stuff like that. Um, so I don't know, but more power to her if she gets it. But still, what I'm trying to say is, Kamala Harris. The only thing she can do is generally laugh. She can do no. She can't answer any questions but laugh. So I think it's Jova. Yeah, like that was what was said. That was what was said. Unironically, I hate to laugh, but that was what unironically what was said. You're right in that, but it's Jova. The West has fallen. The West has fallen. It's Jova, isn't it? It's so Jova. It's Jova. Now, uh, sorry, it's fairly winning. Now, the West has fallen. But I don't know. Maybe Kamala Harris can pull it together, but I don't think so because it's too. They only have a few times to campaign. But basically, the mainstream media in America, they're all going behind the Democrat Party. Uh, among the others. But they're all saying that Donald Trump, the Kamala Harris is questioning it, and then they're saying Donald Trump is questioning it, so they don't really know what they're saying. That's the media. But yeah, it's funny because the media in the mainstream Democrat in America are like, oh yeah, 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 she's the youngest one ever. Um, you know, but she's the youngest. She'd be the youngest woman ever in office and stuff like that. Even though she's not that actually liked, nobody really likes her because let's put it that way. Because if you ask anything, she just laughs. So as I said, there isn't a young woman that's in her 30s. There's only 38. That coincidentally could be actually win the presidency if they would generally want to go and find her. A certain Finnish lady, of course, too. She would make a great president. Like, I'm sure we would all agree on that because literally everybody would be able to get behind her. Because imagine some of the White House parties then, it'd be bussing. Like, it generally would be bussing, the White House parties. So, and then they can at least say, we have a young president and stuff like that. Like, I don't know what you would say somebody's young at 59, and stuff like that. I don't know about that, Chief. We should all go to the coconut tree. It's Jova. It's Jova, isn't it? So what do we take? Who do we think is going to win? Joe Biden. Joe Biden's apparently back in it. Do we take Kamala Harris or do we take be Donald Trump? What do we think? What do we take? Who do we think is going to win? It's Joe. Yeah, we see what happens. It probably benefited them too. Yeah, but I think we could get a certain finish from it that could be better than both parties. That's what I'm trying to say. It'd be more bossing then. Let's put it that way. Especially with her not having the prime ministership anymore, we could sort something out. Anyway, back to this crack. This is Sinn Féin's plan. So Sinn Féin came out with this dribble, to put it least. The Sinn Féin, supports communities and stuff like that, and the work provision and stuff like that. But they literally they should be what the government basically. The Sinn Féin and the government are one and the same basically, because they literally nobody should have a veto. And that's what communities want. They want to have a say. Because at the end of the day, you can have all the community engagement you want. You can literally sit down with them for 5 years and discuss and argue and do this and that. But at the end of the day, if the community have a vote to take among themselves, only the people in the community can vote. Take for example, for some budget, which the people around here vote, and say 200 to 100 says we don't want a direct provision in our town. We don't want as simple as that. End of story. Yeah, that's the way it should go. But in a democracy, that's what it should happen. But obviously, in modern Ireland, that doesn't happen. Obviously, because we're not allowed to have an opinion. You're not allowed to have a different opinion from the political class. So Sinn Féin's just fuck you, Irish people. We don't care. This is their thing. It's just this. It's more dribble, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Literally, no. This is Sinn Féin's thing. Deportations for when the claims were rejected. This is the thing. Sinn Féin make sure they never are rejected. To just let people come in. The rules are clear, and you shouldn't be turned up with no passports, but they're just let in anyway. That's what I'm saying. So the rules are not enforced. They're just kind of they're fucked away basically. That goes out the window basically. And this is just the tone deaf thing. Sinn Féin, as an Irish Republican and a party of the left. Excuse me, Sinn Féin was supposed to be a nationalist party. How can you be a nationalist party when you're on the left? They've kind of outed themselves. That's that way. Rumble in the jumble. Yeah, they're not listening. You can see, in the last election, that's literally that's why they came out with this dribble. They try and gaslight people into voting for them, because that's how they lost the last election in the working class areas. They didn't get enough. They didn't get the votes they thought they would get, because they wouldn't. They're supposed to be the main opposition party holding the government to account. And you see it there, literally saying the same thing as the government. Nobody should have a veto. We want people, just an endless number of people. They didn't say anything about we shouldn't allow anybody else into the country. If Mary McDonald wanted to get an extra few votes now, or Sinn Féin, they could have come out and said, not one more person can come into the country at the moment until we do with the people that's here. And whoever doesn't need to be here, we'll deport them. Not a word of that. There's never an end, basically. There's never an end point. There's just, we're bringing in everybody, basically. Let's put it that way. Literally, that's mainly what Sinn Féin said. There's no such thing as a cap. Or there's no such thing as this is the amount of people taken in, nobody after that. There's no such thing as that. And that's what people want too. Nobody else coming in. Every day of the week, as we speak now, there's probably 200 people getting off a plane at Dublin Airport and coming into the country with no passports or whatever. That's what's happening. And it's happening every day, and that's the thing. Until you have an end to that, then you can maybe deal with the people that are here, because at the end of the day, it's just an open, it's like turning on the tap and keeping it going. Eventually it's going to overflow, and it's overflowing as we speak, because there's just far too many people coming in to cope with. And not even that, it's just a constant flow. There's not even one day without people turning up, and Sinn Féin are nowhere to be found on it. They're basically saying the same thing as the government. The only thing they kind of said that made some kind of decent sense was we should put them into richer areas instead of working class areas. But here's the thing, Mary McDonald. Here's the thing, Sinn Féin. You put them into Ball's Bridge, and I put a few of them into Ball's Bridge tonight, and see, by the morning, I bet you anybody there'll be phone calls made to high people in high places, and they'll be gone by that. They'll be gone within a few hours. That's the thing, because the rich people can call up their friends, their TDs, that are in the Gov society and all that. They can call up them and be like, "Oh, the refugees are right beside me," even though I have it up online that I'm refugee welcome brigade. I'm not too fond of the refugees, because they're outside my house and all that. But but not in my area because I remember when Ivana Batrick, Champagne Socialist 2.0, they were in Ball's Bridge in a park, and literally, she nearly the way she was going on Twitter is like it was the end of the world. There was two or three of them with tents in the park in Ball's Bridge. Like she literally went up, but she nearly was going. She nearly had an aneurysm on Twitter. She was like, "This is disgraceful. How dare they come to Ball's Bridge?" That's literally what she was like. And everybody was like, I thought she was supposed to be for working with refugees. And literally, as soon as they turned up in the whole area, there was all hell to play. And they were gone before the day was out. But yeah. But this is the thing. It'd be different if they said, because at the end of the day, no party's saying we need an end to it. We need a cap. At least if the government turned around now in the morning. But we all know the vote. If they were logical about it, if they wanted to keep people happy at least a bit, they could say, that's it, nobody else, we're not letting anybody else into the country. Then people would be saying, fair enough, that's it. Because the majority of Irish people you asked about Ukrainian refugees, etc., etc., and they say it quietly. I've been in many taxis, etc., over the last few years, and in different areas in Westwoods and stuff, even just talking to people. Everybody said there should have been a cap on Ukrainians. There shouldn't have been just an endless amount of people let in. There should have been a cap of 10,000 or so. And that's what should have happened from the day one. And same with international protection. There should be only a limit to, say, 5,000 people can come in a year. And that's reasonable enough. Because at the moment, they were talking about 20,000 or 30,000, maybe even more, 50,000. Compared to 5,000, that's nothing. But, it's just the fact of the matter, there's no such thing as an end. There's no end goal. There's just the floodgates are open, basically. The hordes are coming, That's what I'm trying to say. There's no such thing as a beginning and an end. There's a beginning, but there's no end. It's the same with these sites too. There's no such thing as an end. When they're going to end? Is it going to be 20 years, 30 years, 40 years? Take for example in Clondalk and that area. Is it going to be 40 years that site's going to be useful? It's going to be 20 years. It's going to be 10 years. It's going to be 5 years. Is it going to be for a month, 3 months, 7 months? No one knows. That's what I'm trying to say. Nobody knows. So is it going to go on for our lifetime? Or what's going to happen? That's the thing. There's nothing. You basically have to sit down and shut up and accept it. That's basically the answer you get, which isn't fair. Now, so I have to go looking for something now. When was this? So I'm just looking for something specifically. There probably is stuff I'm forgetting about, so don't shoot the message. Where the fuck was this now, though? Am I going dumb? Give me a moment, sorry. I'm literally having a brain fit. Couldn't be that bad, could it? Sorry, I'm actually brain bitten for a second. Like, yeah, I'm able to talk, but I just want to show you the context of what I'm talking about. Am I literally brain bitten or something? I must generally be having a fit. Apologies if it's sorry. I'm looking for something here. Um, Sorry, but just give me a second. See, I'm just trying to try and give you context what I'm talking about. Uh, the fuck am I? The fuck. Give me a moment. No. So people probably remember about the Clonus High Cross, etc., etc. So I was in a meeting on Saturday in Clonus in County Monaghan. Now, unfortunately, Clonus is, apart from the Ulster Canal being done, it's well done, the Ulster Canal, in fairness. But the town is literally dying. Clonus is a lot of direct provision. But there's huge concern. I wasn't talking directly to this A2 person, but I was talking to a few people that called me up to talk to me about it. I seen this, try and find out some more stuff. And there has, I suppose, the A2 rep has found it a good bit too. I suppose it's the wait and see, because there is a lot of old banks around Clonus. So this is from the 19th of June. So I went there Saturday. So there's been a lot of discussion about it. And was asked to go up to talk to a few people, uh, see what could be done. To be totally honest, nobody knows really at this stage what's happening, because there's very little information being given. As this council, like into Web says, one council said it's Ukrainians that talk there. From what I can gather, is it seems to be the case, but there's no proof. There's no anything to say. Probably because there are two empty banks. These are two big banks too in the middle of Clonus. Because the fact that so this councillor knows a lot. This person in this area knows a lot more than me. I was told the basics of what was happening. The Ulster Bike premise is obviously in the middle of the town, just beside the Clonus High Cross town. It was owned by the council. It's been leased to a private owner for 5 years. That is true. I found that out. That is true. But I don't know who the owner is. Nobody seems to know either. For 38 beds available for asylum seekers. These asylum seekers are already been housed in emergency accommodation in the local area. But see, nobody knows, and I suppose that's the thing. So hopefully, what I'm trying to say, the people that I was talking to in Clonus, they asked me to come up. See how they know me and stuff like that from the Clonus High Cross, the time they wanted to get rid of the High Cross in Clonus. Now there's been no movement on that. So I presume they have abandoned it because there's not been a word said since the uproar about it. Now, obviously, there should be probably something like a protective shield or something put up right across because it is an old, it's hundreds and hundreds of years old. But there's been no word since about it. But, so I gather they're not going to do anything because the original plan was they were going to take the original one and put it into the Leonard Arms, which is abandoned now. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen for years. So we have to wait. But that's how I know them people that talk to me about it. They wanted just to get my opinion on what did I think about it. Now, as they say, is there going to be a public meeting, as this person says, which should be the case in this instance. There should be a public meeting. Yeah, there's no. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's nowhere to be seen. There's nowhere to be found. I would have liked one of them to come and try and meet me when I was there Saturday, but there's none of them around at all. Nobody's about at all. There's no councillors about at all. Now, I haven't talked to any of the councillors. I haven't rang any of them. The one I used to know in Monaghan County Council was the councillor. She lost her seat in Monaghan. And obviously the councillors wouldn't want to talk to me to be doing either in Monaghan. Particularly because I don't think they're too happy with the time of the High Cost. But yeah, I suppose this is just hearsay at the moment. But I just wanted to bring this to people's attention in Clonus. Because at the moment the local media too are nowhere to be found on this either. So I don't know. Well, yeah, I won't say anything. But the people 3 or 4 people I was talking to, we had tea and everything, and there's great concern about it, especially because there's so many there. There's a lot already there. That's what I'm saying. The other premises, there's a lot of premises being used already. Like 80, I think they said it to me, 85% of Clonus is from outside of Clonus, not born in Clonus, which seems to be the case. Which it's 85, or it's in the 80%, anyway, definitely 100%. And I agree with them on it because everywhere I looked, it definitely was. Let's put it that way. But I know I understand things being out in the open and being so old, etc., is being eroded a bit. I get it, but it was the fact of the matter is that they said they were going to get a replica, they never did. Like to get a replica ready, they were going to move it, etc., etc. But see, the thing was, it was all done in secret. It was all done behind the scenes until I found out the information and made it public, etc., etc. Because the Monaghan County Council wasn't going to put it public until I found out about it. And that was the beginning of it. I mean, and nothing has been done since. But I don't know. We wait and see what happens there. Yeah, Mike Tyson's from Clones, yes. But I just want to say that. So I don't know what's happening there yet. And it's the fact that, as that person said in the comments, the council doesn't know what to be found. I would have liked to meet one of them if I was there. When I was there on Saturday, I would have met one of them surely and tried to see because again, I don't think it could be stopped. I think they're going to do it hell high. Because again, the Ulster bike one in Clonus now is owned by a private. I know that for 100%. It was owned by the council. The council bought it and it was given to somebody. It was they paid for it and all that, but we don't know who it is, and it's just basically all secret stuff. It's all kind of red tape and this, like it's like fucking state secrets. We don't answer. And see, it's the thing of not knowing what's going on. That's what's annoying a lot of people. It's not knowing what's happening. But we wait and see with that. But it was great to be up in Clonus. It was always good to be up there. But unfortunately, I don't think there can be anything done. I don't think I could, as I said to them there when I was there, there's nothing really I can do because it's bigger than me, I suppose, if that makes any sense. And that's to be totally honest, it's far bigger than me, and I don't think we could ever really put us like one person can do something. But as I said, we don't know yet. That's the information that A2 Web got, and I pretty got the same thing told to me, but there was not really much else I could find out. That's pretty much what was said. So yeah, and it's the fact of the matter that some of the kids should, and I do call out the local media here, Northern Sound of the Anglo South. They should have an article on this within a week, within the next week. You should have an article to address this, to say at least tell people what's the facts at the moment in Clonus, to let them know. Because again, it's the fact that there's dead silence from official channels. The mainstream media in Cavan in Clonus are nowhere to be found in addressing this. And it's the same with the local politicians. Not one, apart from that A2 Web, which isn't even elected. She's not even elected councillor, but she's doing more than the elected councillors. Like they all seem to be asleep. So, but I would ask some of the councillors if they probably will make the way back to this. But I'd ask them to come out and say what they know. But we all know they probably won't. But but I just wanted to bring that to your attention where I was Saturday. But again, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do, unfortunately. Because I kind of know anyway, they wouldn't be too happy with me. And they wouldn't be happy me talking about it on media, definitely. But I do think it's because, again, people, that's why I was up there in the first place. Because I was asked to come up just to see what was what. Even though I'm not a council and stuff, but just to talk it out, I suppose. Just even to talk it out, because again, there's no such thing as no discussion, basically. That's what people want. At least a discussion on it. Sorry, I'm having the fit. So I'm just making sure I have everything I want to talk. Move a bit close to it. So this is from last week. Oh fuck! I clicked that. Sorry. Now you've probably seen the documentary we posted on my community tab. So unfortunately, drugs are nowadays in the modern society, particularly in Ireland, that just exploded. See, the problem is, and again, this is the thing: they can't bring them through the airports. It's the ports. They're coming in by boat on small boats, off big container ships, as we've seen recently last year. That's what's happening. Hello, Gordon, you're back again. So that's what's happening in this situation. 300,000 worth of cannabis found in Bertobert. Now, Cavan is full of drugs, unfortunately, now. But the fact of the matter is, there's not been much said about this. And this is the thing. Now, I know about 2 people have been arrested. They seem to be, they don't seem to be Irish, as far as I can gather. Because I've looked into this. Maybe I'm wrong. We won't know until the court date, obviously, because then the names will be given out, etc., etc. But basically, there's very little said. And this is the thing I don't like in Angola, Sri Lanka. The infections are ongoing, and that's really it. They just shut people up, and no, you're not allowed to know anything about it. Um, yeah, so obviously there is, like in Cavan, we all know it, and all the councils would know it too, that there's a huge drug industry in Cavan. There's a lot of drugs being given to young people, etc. So it's happening. It's going on. Um, and we need to kind of put us up. The Gaudi know who's doing it. That's the thing. So the question needs to be asked: who are these people to? Because we won't know yet, but we find out sooner or later. But again, this is one out of many because there's a few anyway in the back country roads, and the Gaudi know about it. So I don't know yet. We'll find out. But that's what I'm presuming because I've been asking about this to a few people and nobody seems to know who they are. So I presume they're just drug mules or something. Yeah, that's what I presume they are. Again, it's the fact that there's no willingness on the guards or the councillors or anybody's part to come out and say, yes, they're from Timbuktu and they're drug mules or whatever. It's the fact of the matter, it's just dead silence. There's an article and that's it. Investigation's ongoing. And that's about it. So we only know when the case comes in the court. And that's about it. That's what I'm saying. So, but maybe I'm wrong in the whole situation. I could be, but anyway, I always want to prove wrong. But again, the questions have to be asked. Why is names not being named? Especially in such a small town like not Clone, it's about Talbot. It's not as big as it used to be years ago. For that to be going on, I'm sure the local people knew about it for a long time. Because it's well knowledge in some areas of Cavan what's happening. Yeah, but no, it isn't an epidemic in Cavan. It is an epidemic. I'm just trying to think of how I'm going to put this now. Especially because what's been told to me, what's been always reported to me now in the last few months, is that younger and younger children, particularly, are getting into the drugs in Cavan, and that's pretty worrying when you see that. Like they're targeting young children now, not even teenagers. They're targeting young children to try and get them addicted to drugs and stuff. It's happening all the time, and it's more prevalent in the town now. Like Cavan's nearly been called the drug den of nearly an hour in some stages. But it's just not. It's the fact of the matter, not much has been done about it. But the fact too that we're an island, you keep going back to it, but unless you have a strong navy, that's the only way to catch these people. To stop the drugs coming in at the source. But again, one ship to patrol 1 million acres of water is not going good. Yeah, that's what's happened. No, but it never happened before. But this is the thing. This is what I'm trying to get. It never happened before. Usually it was teenagers. I even remember when I was at secondary school, I've seen young people on drugs. I've seen them taking it, etc., etc. Thankfully, I never got involved or anything. I never wanted that. I never wanted to be cool because, again, a lot of them done it because they look cool, etc. I never give the shit about that. Same as Drake and smokes and stuff. I never give the shit. And I was better off. again, the same with Joe, better off staying away from it. And that's what I say to young people: stay away from it. To fuck if people make a laugh at you for not taking it away into that, just fucking, you're better off without it. Because it can be just a downhill spiral from there. Yeah, like that's what's happening. But particularly in Cavan now, in the last few weeks, it's got very noticeable. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. It's more noticeable now, if that makes any sense. It's like in the open, basically. Beforehand, it was behind closed doors. If that makes any, do you get what I'm saying? In a way, because I can't really come out and say, well, I can come out. I probably said a bit too much, but sure, look at. Oh, the Loyal. It's visible, yes, that's the word. Big. That's nice. I think I remember that actually. I heard something for that. I'm not going to say things, but I heard something similar to that. But no, it's becoming more noticeable the last few weeks. You see how I know that? Because a lot more people are talking about it. You know, that's the thing. When you hear a lot more people talking about it, it's not the mainstream media, and it's the only Joe on the street talking about it. That's how you know it's become more noticeable. If that makes any sense. Piggly, see, check something else out. Am I missing stuff now? I wonder. I'm just double checking to see that I forget anything. Oh, we didn't talk about OT. I'll get to that now in a second. So we all know about OT getting a big, huge payout. Imagine you waste taxpayers' money and you get more taxpayers' money. It makes sense, doesn't it? Doesn't it? You waste loads of taxpayer money, you get more in return. It all makes sense, doesn't it? It all is making sense. So I'm just looking for something on my phone now. I'm just trying to think too. Is there anything else that I have to just double check? But see, this is the problem when you don't stream for a long time. You have to remember where you are, you know what's happening. Just double check something. Sorry about that. Sorry, Joe Biden. Joe Biden, wake up. Joe Biden, wake up. Where am I? Yeah, I know. Big gilly. So this was a few weeks ago. I meant to talk about it at the time. I think I completely forgot about it. So this president of our country. So do you know the way in the Constitution? Obviously, the one, not so much in America and other countries, is the only thing you do with is you're head of state. You're kind of just the figure of Ireland, basically. You do have constitutional roles. Obviously, you sign in laws into the constitution, make sure they're legal, etc., and they go by the constitution. That's your role. And obviously, the commander in chief of the army, the Irish army, the head of, you're the commander in chief. Now, obviously, not commanding people in the field, but you're the figurehead of the army. Let's put it that way. The chief of staff holds all the real power. But basically, if there's an amendment, an act put through Dáil and Shannon Ewan, and the president has to sign it, basically, let's put it that way. And the president can decide if he thinks it's constitutional or not, and he can bring it to the Supreme Court if he thinks it's not constitutional. So now they can intervene the Council of State. And now it's been a long time since the Council of State has been, this is 3 weeks ago now, been put forward. So obviously it's Taoiseachs, as you see, Leo, the Cam Cole, etc. This bollocks, and where's the other bollocks? No, Bertie not in it. Thought Bertie was there. I could be blind, am I? Well, they're all kind of bollocks. But yeah, this is to do with the Defence Act. What's it specifically? We're into the Defence Act. I can't particularly remember the name of the act. But basically, it's to do with the Constitution. This is to do with the Defence Forces. Obviously, it goes back to the old saying of the Defence Forces and Scottish that you can't be in a political order against a nation or a secret society. And an amendment that was put in, where is it? The Defence Amendment Bill. So it allows them to get, interact with trade unions. Because obviously, as a member of the Defence Force, you can't go on strike. That's the thing. But also the reason why the president convened the State Council is because it did say in the amendment too that the members of the Defence Forces can't have an opinion on anything, basically. They can't openly state an opinion on political opinions, etc. So obviously this was still signed into law. The president convened this and deemed it constitutional after the big discussion. There was no amendments or anything put to it, but it didn't go to the Supreme Court. But basically, where was this when the EU Migration Pact and the COVID legislations and stuff were going through the House of the Oaks? There was no such thing as the Council of State. So I don't know why he convened it for this, but but long story short, just add my opinion to it. Sovereign members of the Defence Forces obviously can have their own personal opinion. But obviously, I do agree they shouldn't be in a political organisation or in a secret society, and that goes without saying. But they're entitled to, obviously, outside the Defence Forces, have their own personal opinion on something, on politics or whatever it may be. They're allowed to say this government's a pile of bollocks if they wanted to. But I don't know with this act. It's kind of fuzzy. Does it still allow them to do that? Or would they get suspended? Or, it's hard to know. What's the state of that? I couldn't tell you. There's something to do with the Council of State. See, these are all... you see, former presidents. I don't think Mary Robinson's there. Don't think Jerry Button was there, the Cam Polo. Okay, there's other knobheads. There's Leo and Nicole, obviously. Then you have Brian Cowan. I don't know where I thought Bertie was there, but Bertie's not there. Don't know who this fellow is. Don't know who half these people are. I've seen them before. I've seen them. The Attorney General is there somewhere too. I've seen them. I haven't seen this one before. I don't know where she came from, but I've seen all the other faces before. I don't know where from, but I know this face to see. Know all these faces to see, but I don't know who they are. They're just probably high ranking civil servants. She's probably a civil servant, some civil servant person. But anyway, long story short, it's done and dusted now. But as I say, they should be allowing their own personal opinion, basically. So I don't know who she was, anyway. She probably something to do with a civil servant or something. But I do agree they shouldn't subscribe to secret societies, so political parties. But obviously, their own outside of the Fed's forces, they're entitled to have their own say. You know, they shouldn't be prosecuted for their opinion outside of being in the uniform. Because at the end of the day, they're still citizens of the country outside of the Fed's forces hours. That makes any sense. And to be totally honest, the Fed's forces should really have a union too, to be totally honest. Even though they can't really strike, it'd be considered treason if they went and strike. They should have a union at least to defend them, to stand up for them. So I don't have an issue with that. That's the question of that. Now, just before we go, no, let me see. So to get the other thing. One moment. Sorry, I have to go and find this thing just to compare. Scooby-Doo. Where in the name of God? Sorry, it took me 9 minutes to get this. This is the last thing of the night, so it's important. Oh yeah. Even De Valera's grandson too is retiring from Fianna Fáil. I forgot to say. So that's open. Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Ian McQueen. Yeah, he's retiring from Fianna Fáil. Now I don't know. Is he just leaving because he's wants to retire, or is there something more to it? Like is he sick of the party or whatever? I would like to know what's his situation. You know. I can't find it. So yeah, he is. He's must be in his. I can't remember what age, but he's near 70. You know. But anyway, I think we leave it there for the moment. So I just know briefly just show you this. So the big news story in Finland at the moment, just to say, the big issue, the big thing is that Sanna's at a concert in Helsinki and stuff like that. And the big thing is that she basically the long story because of that little talk about is that she's basically in with loads of people there. You know, that's there's a big discussion about this basically. That she's literally there with like an only Joe basically. And then obviously the discussion about the dresses, etc., etc. Of course, yeah. So that's the big discussion at the moment in the true Finns, etc., etc. That this former prime minister still out having a great time. So that's the big discussion there in Finland at the moment. So that's what's happening. So I think that's it for tonight. Yeah, that's all. That's all she wrote. Yeah, that's all she wrote for tonight. So thank you for watching. Oh no, not something like that. All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the night. I talk to you later. Enjoy the rest. That's a good way to end it off, isn't it? Anyway, here, thank you for watching. See you later. And we'll be back Saturday. Might be a video up tomorrow, maybe we see. So yeah, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of the night and goodbye.